Hey people, I'm back. Today we're going to be doing 2012. This is going to be a rant about the film. This film pretty much sucks. Here's the plot in a nutshell. Somebody predicts a disaster that's going to happen in 2012, and then he informs people in the White House, and they have to build dams. Have to build arcs to save themselves, and a group of people struggle to survive while getting to the arcs. This is just the plot in a nutshell, but anyways, this is a rant. I will leave it at that. But now, what problems do I have with this film? The pacing for the film is just it's terrible and misplaced. There are scenes like the opening sequence from the Columbia Pictures statue up to the point where we see the water boiling. The scene goes on for 4 minutes, but it feels shorter than that, probably because the pacing. The pacing just feels very mishandled in this film. And the length of the film is probably one of the reasons why this film sucks. Maybe if they trimmed the length down, the film would have been better. But instead, it's too long. The reason why it's too long is because of the plot. Not to mention the story is just very mishandled. Roland Emmerich's films are just plot-driven. But why? Roland Emmerich, you should really focus on the story and not just... You should really... He has directed a lot of bad movies. I'd say his best film is a film that's pretty good and probably one of the best science fiction films from the 1990s, Independence Day. That film was pretty good, but... anyways, I'll pause me. Roland Emmerich could have really done a better job with his films. Like Godzilla 1998, the biggest reason why the film sucks is because it's not Godzilla, but I don't know what... How can he just make his films plot-driven? Why do this? You could have done a much better job with the films, Roland Emmerich. And also, another thing is, now for the next issue. The characters. The characters are pretty much stereotypes, except the ones of the White House. And also, I think the best character in this film is Thomas Wilson. President Thomas Wilson, played by Danny Glover. I think he's probably the best character in the film. And Carl Anheuser is extremely unlikable. I don't know what goes in. I definitely have a problem with these films. I think when I used to watch this, when I watched 2012 for the first few times, I enjoyed it. But over time, it just got worse and worse. I know 3 directors who could have made this a great film. Steven Spielberg, James Cameron, and Christopher Nolan. These are just for examples, but they could have made, one of them could have made this film fantastic, but instead the film ends up being a mess. And the special effects, they are great, but at some moments they look like video game graphics. like in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There are some moments where the CGI looks like video game graphics. I think the plot should also the main character is Jackson Curtis, who's one of the survivors of LA. I felt the film could have revolved around Adrian Helmsley could have been the protagonist instead, because really, I don't know, but sorry about that. Man, is so full of problems. Anyways, you know, if I watched it without, if I hadn't watched it recently, I wouldn't have given. If I hadn't have watched the film more recently, I would have given it a 2 out of 4. But I did watch it an hour. Sorry, but I watched it an hour before during this review, and I give the film a 1.5 out of 4. And this is Ben Fisher saying, see you next time. See ya.